Let's talk about the simplicity of oneness. Hey guys, it's John. Thoroughly enjoying being out here on my back deck. 64 degrees outside. I'm wearing a t-shirt. This is lovely wearing a t-shirt. I feel just tremendously well. I've been talking a lot about oneness and non-duality lately because they mean the same thing. Non-duality means oneness, means you're not dual, you're one. So when I talk about oneness or non-duality, I'm talking about the same thing. But I hear people talk about non-duality or oneness as if it's a topic to still find duality within. Oftentimes people will say, we're fractals of God. We're fractals of God, or they'll talk about the delineation within God. And the concept of delineation is a tough topic to talk about when you're talking about oneness, because when you're talking about oneness, there is no delineation in oneness. You are God. You are one with God. The pattern-seeking mind constantly looks for patterns, looks for some way of defining, understanding. But I think words are imperfect. I think we're trying to find delineation so that we can understand oneness, but it's the concept of finding those delineations themselves that take us away from oneness. I think oneness itself is the ultimate in simplicity. People say we're fractals of. That's still a delineating thought. That's still a division from oneness. I think, as I said, words being imperfect, I think that there is no way to describe oneness. I think oneness itself is a state of being. It's a feeling. And to be effectively in the oneness of God, or part of the oneness of God, means you have to let go of the thing that means you think you're a part of it. You are the oneness of God. You are God itself. And it is an understanding that Joshua said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It didn't say the kingdom of heaven is within the part of you that is within the oneness of God. It doesn't say any of that. It says the kingdom of heaven is within you. The Father and I are one. It talks about this oneness, this non-duality, in a term that is hard to comprehend with the physical mind, because the physical mind is trying to find things in a physical way. And they'll use mathematical terms like fractals to explain it. When we look at terms like fractals, or we are fractals of God, that is the conscious physical mind that is used to the physical world trying to explain what oneness is by using a delineating term like fractals. I think the term itself has no place in oneness. I think the term itself is misunderstanding what non-duality is. You can't be a fractal and be non-dual. You can't be a fractal and be one. Because once you put the fractals in, you've delineated yourself as separate from the rest. Oneness is about understanding that you are God and God is represented through you. And the idea that what you think you become, you create your world. We are literally creating this experience around us through our belief system, because we are the creator. We are the one element of our own life being good or bad. If we choose to think the world is bad, then we're going to have a bad experience. If we choose to think the world is good, we have a good experience. Shakespeare himself said, there is nothing good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. That comes back to the concept of you being the one thing that is thinking and creating in your world. I understand that within the oneness of God, there are people who think differently than I. And that's okay. They're allowed to. They are God creating as one as well. They just are creating a different aspect, but it's still in one. It's still all happening in this one entity, this one feeling of God. But when people start to try to delineate and find their way out by using mathematical terms like fractals or things of this nature, they're literally missing the point, in my opinion. Now, if they're happy with that it's totally their part of it, right? That they are more than welcome to have that experience. But I believe it's happening all in the oneness of God. We're exploring God ourselves through our experiences of life. And they may be having a different experience than me, but in reality, we're both having this experience together, because even my reaction to their experience is a part of the process of that oneness of God interacting.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com.
It's not about being a fractal. It's about understanding that you are part of God, and that you have the ability to change your experience of your life simply by changing your beliefs consciously. It's about coming to your fearless present moment and being the kingdom of heaven and earth, being God here in the now, being the expression of God in this present moment. When we start to find ways to delineate ourselves, and a lot of times people will use, there's a big mathematical term and things of that nature, just to make themselves feel like they have more knowledge. I think the words separate. I think the words divide. I think the concepts of fractals makes us separate. And, even in Hinduism, there is a version of this, the sit and the sit sati. There's the consciousness of God and the individual sparks of consciousness within the one God. This could be also said as fractals as well. But I think that it's actually so simple that we have a hard time comprehending it. Like I said in my first regression, we're all aspects of God, and as each one of us chooses a different thing, we get to experience the give and take of that belief. We experience our beliefs here, and that person over there having an entirely different belief. We experience how that interacts with us as one. And we get to make conscious present moment choices. And the lady stood right behind me here. There used to be a tree right here. And her and her son came out and cut that tree down and made it into firewood. And one day she says to me, "You know what I did this morning?" I said, "What?" I set my neighbor's Joe Biden sign on fire. And my response to her was, "I really like you, but we're never going to talk about politics again." And we never did. We talked about love and compassion and creating a beautiful world. She asked me to coach her son on his life. She asked me to do all kinds of things. She ended up baking me Christmas cookies. It was a lovely experience with this person. Now, we may or may not have believed the same thing politically, but those things don't matter. That's just the expression of God being expressed in multiple ways. And for me, I could live in reaction, or I could turn the other cheek and just say, okay, this is in the oneness of God. And it's not my job to change her perspective. It's my job to be the love so she can see the love. I'll bet my being nice to her and kind to her changed her day in positive ways. That's why she baked me Christmas cookies, because I made her feel better. Because in the oneness of God, my job was to look at what she was saying, hear the fearful things that were going on, and my response to that was to give love. Had nothing to do with the being fractals of each other. It's me being able to look at my experience and say, what can I do out of love to create a different outcome? And that's my thought on this concept of delineations and divisions within the oneness of God. The second we start adding words and terms like fractals and divisions, we end up creating something that's not one. We end up having people find different expectations of their belief being different from that person's belief. And whereas I think my belief is reflected in other people's beliefs. They think opposite of me. What does that do to me? It lets me go, okay, do I truly believe what I believe? It gives me the opportunity to test my own beliefs. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you.